In the world, there are numerous houses that have gained a reputation as places with paranormal or mysterious events. These phenomena typically begin to occur after extremely heinous crimes take place within these buildings. Forces inexplicable in nature awaken, leaving their traces and affecting those who dare to enter these cursed walls. There is a belief that after such events, the house transforms into a kind of sanctuary for the souls of the departed, manifesting themselves in the case of dissatisfaction with the new inhabitant. Today, I will tell you just such a story. It all began in 1986 when the Snedeker family decided to move into the house at 208 Meriden Avenue, Southington, Connecticut. The Snedekers made the decision to relocate primarily based on a tragic circumstance. Their 13-year-old son, Philip, was facing a cruel illness, Hodgkin's lymphoma, a type of lymphatic system cancer. At that time, only a few medical institutions in the United States were treating this ailment, including a hospital in Southington. The Snedeker family chose to rent a house just a few kilometers from this hospital, aiming to provide the most accessible and close location for the treatment of their son, Philip. Their choice was underscored by the concern for the possibility of prompt medical assistance, adding a special meaning to their new place of residence. Mr. and Mrs. Snedeker were thrilled with their new home, as it was not only spacious and well-kept but also incredibly affordable. However, their joy was dampened by the strange stories from the neighbors. It turned out that 20 years ago, this house had been used as a kind of morgue, where the deceased were prepared for funerals. Later in the basement, the Snedekers discovered several coffins, embalming tools, and numerous eerie post-mortem photographs of the deceased. Despite the grim discovery in the basement, the rest of the house was in perfect condition, fresh renovations, new furniture. Everything created an impression of a cozy and welcoming dwelling. Family decided to stay. Soon after the Snedeker family moved into the house on Meriden Avenue, strange events began to unfold. The occupants felt as if the house was rejecting them, unwilling to accept them within its walls. Unexplained occurrences started to manifest around them, creating an atmosphere of discontent and hostility emanating from the house. The first to notice this peculiar phenomenon was young Philip. Philip claimed that in his room there were often cold gusts of wind, even with the windows closed. He described human shadows gliding along the walls both during the day and at night. Strange noises and eerie, guttural sounds emanated from the dark corners of the house and the attic. The atmosphere in the house became increasingly tense, creating a sense of inexplicable threat. Initially, the parents thought that Philip might be suffering from hallucinations due to the medication he was taking. Their son, already weakened by aggressive treatment, could barely get out of bed, and it was possible that the visions were a side effect of the drugs. Despite attempts to dismiss the boy's stories, the family occasionally encountered mysterious events. Items disappeared or broke seemingly on their own. These incidents only intensified the sense of strangeness and incomprehensibility, making all the residents of the house feel an invisible threat lurking within its walls. Under the influence of the strange occurrences in the house, Philip became increasingly withdrawn, resentful towards his family who did not take his stories seriously. His demeanor became more silent and closed, but occasional flashes of anger erupted when he lost control. These peculiar events only deepened his sense of unease and dissatisfaction, creating a tense and mystical atmosphere inside the house. Despite what was happening, the family continued to attribute Philip's strange behavior to his treatment. However, genuine concern arose a month later when the boy became fascinated with books about demons and started composing poems dedicated to suffering and death. One day, Philip approached the neighbors with an unusual request. He asked to borrow a gun from them to end his father's life. This event was already difficult to ignore, and the Snedeker family began to pay attention to various strange occurrences in their home. The atmosphere became infused with mystery and horror. One night, the daughter rushed out of her room, screaming and sobbing, claiming that an invisible hand had grabbed her while she was lying in bed. Additionally, she described strange sounds coming from the closet and insisted that her dolls on the shelf seemed to come alive, directing their gazes towards her. A few days later, Philip's mother, Carmen, discovered a leak from the kitchen pipes, and it would have been an ordinary incident if the liquid didn't resemble blood. Over the next year and a half, the Snedeker family continued to be plagued by various paranormal phenomena, mysterious shadows, strange sounds, the movement of objects that seemed to shift on their own. Horrifying and unknown forces continued to sow chaos in their home. Moreover, Carmen and other family members occasionally developed mysterious scratches all over their bodies. Noticing this inexplicable phenomenon, the woman noted a strange coincidence. Such occurrences happened after they argued with the angered Philip. In the Snedeker household, there was a recurring mysterious phenomenon, a dark shadow that seemed to come to life, trailing behind family members from one room to another. At times, this shadow appeared almost tangible and possessed its own peculiar features, creating a mystical and frightening atmosphere. The only one who remained skeptical of the paranormal occurrences in the house for a long time was the father of the family. He devoted much of his time to work, only occasionally returning home to eat and sleep. The family's stories about strange events in the house only evoked disbelief in him, and he continued to doubt their reality. But, as you will see, even the most persistent skeptic is sometimes forced to change their point of view. Carmen, Philip, and other family members decided to seek help from the local priest. However, he showed no interest in the matter. Similar to the head of the family, he believed that the Snedekers were trying to deceive him and did not take their problems seriously. Eventually, under the pressure from his family and after a painting in the living room fell on the father, the man agreed to yield to the pleas of his wife and children and seek help from Ed and Lorraine Warren. These specialists in paranormal phenomena were widely known in the United States. The Warrens agreed to come and assist the Snedeker family. They spent several days in their house and confirmed that something truly peculiar was happening there. After that, Ed and Lorraine decided to investigate the history of the cursed house. Thoroughly investigating the history of the house, the Warrens discovered that the previous owners of the building were involved in various crimes, ranging from murders to conducting satanic rituals. According to the Warrens' findings, these events could have led to the manifestation of demonic entities in the house, which are now attempting to enter our world through Philip. All the strange and frightening phenomena experienced by the Snedeker family could be a result of the activities of these demonic entities. In an attempt to save the Snedeker family from the haunting, Ed and Lorraine suggested performing an exorcism. However, a complication arose. The clergy refused to conduct it, not finding clear symptoms. Despite this, the Warrens were convinced that demonic entities were still present in the house and exerting influence on the family members. At that point, the Warrens drew the attention of television and the media, portraying the events as if the church was refusing to help the Snedekers rid themselves of the curse. This created additional tension and interest surrounding their story, emphasizing the mystery and enigmatic aspects of what was happening. In the end, a priest was eventually found who agreed to conduct the exorcism session on September 6, 1988, and it took place live on air. Interestingly, the show was hosted by the well-known television presenter, John Zaffis. With the help of the Warrens, the priest managed to exorcise the evil from the house and Philip. The Snedeker family claimed that the cleansing was successful, but their peaceful life lasted only a few weeks. After that, paranormal phenomena returned with renewed strength, adding even more mystery and horror to their everyday reality. Unable to endure it any longer, the Snedeker family decided to relocate to another place, disappearing from the public eye. Since then, little has been heard about them, except for the sad news that Philip passed away in January 2012 at the age of 38. And so the Snedeker family endured the ordeal of the ominous house, seemingly ridding themselves of the demonic shadow that haunted them. However, as is often the case in stories of this kind, mysterious forces found their way back to them, bringing back the threat and horror. Did they encounter new mysteries and unexplained phenomena after moving to another place? Questions about the nature of these phenomena remain unanswered, and the mystery of the Snedeker family continues to reside in the murky alleyways of the supernatural. So go to sleep with your eyes open, for something may be lurking in the dark corner that you didn't notice before. Who knows what lies behind the next turn?